Morioh-cho Radio. We love Morioh-cho.
Joe, we're
Yeah.
live with the last Jojolion talk. The last
Oh.
Morioh-cho Radio.
Oh.
Interestingly, do we call this Morioh-cho Radio in part 9 too? I don't know.
Maybe.
Depends.
Come live from Morioh in Katy, Texas.
Yeah, so part 9 did get announced, so it's worth mentioning that before we start.
Mhm.
But this is the last chapter of Jojolion, and it was everything everyone ever hoped for. Honestly, there's not much to say about this chapter because I think about 90% of it is worthless. So,
Yeah, I agree.
but I mean, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
However, these cover pages
Fire. Like
are
always.
so good.
Yeah.
Jojolion
I love the
pages.
Yasuo one with the rock human stands.
Yeah,
And I guess and King Nothing for no reason.
I think it's just every stand.
Yeah, it's more like every stand.
Like or like I could see this being a larger artwork that has every stand's face, and this is just a corner that has the rock humans.
Mm-hmm.
But because that's Dubiwa right over here, but
Yeah.
there's a Waking Three Leaves, so it's all over the place. Anywho, the chapter picks up in the guardrail incident. And what is there really to note here aside from the fact that Fumi-san has hermit purple?
Mm-hmm.
That's like literally the only thing that comes to note. It took me a while to realize what was happening in some of these pages. That he threw his shoe so hard that it opened like his shit that was in the back of the car. I don't know how that works.
So I thought this was we're seeing Hermit Purple through Lucy's view because she can't see the stand.
Yeah, but he still throws the shoe.
He does.
Maybe Hermit Purple is like pushing the shoe into the into the thing, so that's why it's strong enough to open.
Maybe.
But regardless, like this Hermit Purple has like a physical form, so that's the first time we've seen it. It looks fucking sick.
Yeah.
He also has the steel ball, not the steel balls, but the clackers.
Clackers.
He's like, no, fuck
Yeah.
these. Oh, no, no. And then, they escape, and as they're driving away, they see Toru, who's just chilling there.
Man, there'd been great memes and shit post Crusaders where they just shove him in the background of different images.
I don't know why that turned into such a meme. I'm not like following that subreddit, but because I mean he's old enough to have been here. He's 89 years old potentially. Can you believe it? 89.
Yeah. See, the thing is about this whole small chapter is that it would have been better if there was actually another smaller arc after this.
You mean it'd be better if the story was a story and had a conclusion? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a thought. But yeah, we're almost done with the chapter, and that's literally all I wanted to talk about is that he chucked his shoe real hard and he has a hermit purple.
Yeah.
And you get something of his family lineage. His daughter is Holly. So
Which we already knew.
I wonder. Well, no, hold on. No, his daughter isn't Holly. No, wait, his daughter is Holly? Okay.
Yeah, there's one daughter named Holly.
I forgot what this all really means in the end.
Basically, they were just wrapping up because Johnny's family ends up in Japan.
Yes.
And then we have to bring Joseph back to America so we can have the Joseph Joestar game again. So he's not Japanese.
Yeah,
so
sure.
And he's married to Susie Q. And that's how he meets her.
Yeah.
And then they move back to Japan, or Holly does at least. It's very unnecessary.
It feels like 1.5 chapters just to explain why their name is Joestar and that Holly was a Joestar.
Yeah, which wasn't necessary because we already saw the whole lineage.
we had already seen a family tree previous, so
I guess the other part is so they're Yasuo's walking along the street and they find Josefume's mom walking away from the hospital.
Yeah.
And Yasuo like peers into the phone or whatever, and
Right. Well,
kind
I
of
mean,
finds all these
yeah, that's
secrets.
the part of the chapter that matters. So,
Mhm.
yeah, this is I do like how this chapter ends. Josuke's stone face just kind of goes away completely now. He just has a little couple pebbles, but uh, she has pictures of Josefumi, but Josuke doesn't really react to it because in the end, that's not really his mom.
Mhm.
Speaking of his mom, he's like, "Hey, what are we gonna do about Holly? There's no more Rokakakas," and he's like, "Yeah, there aren't." The end. Cool. The main motivation gets just completely swept in half a page.
Yeah.
That's like that's the Ymir had complex emotions or Love King Fritz in Attack on Titan, where it's like, okay, I feel like we should have maybe explored this a little more or whatever.
Mhm.
She saw your love, Mikasa. Okay, cool, sure, whatever that means. Um, yeah, and then like the last few pages are actually really good with them picking the cake, and
Mhm.
Josuke is like really part of the family, but like, and that's the chapter. It ends with Josuke having to pick the cake, and we never get to see what cake he picks. Very cute. We never get to see a Yasuo kiss. She's like walking out of frame here, so it's like
That was really weird that she just leaves.
it's like the story was mostly about Josuke finding his way into the family. Also, my God, Joshu's tiny arm is
Yeah, I was about to
so
mention.
good.
He doesn't get far back.
So good. But like I feel like while this was a part of the story, I feel like the when and how it coalesces, it didn't feel like such a big deal that he was finally accepted into the family because like I feel like we've been talking about the idea of like a final arc where it's
Mhm.
Josuke versus the family, and then maybe after all of that, they put their problems aside and become a real family. That would have hit me way more. But the
Yeah.
last arc is about calamities and Toru and stopping Toru
Mhm.
and rescuing uh rescuing Tsurugi, who by the way, Josuke had no real part in rescuing Tsurugi. Like he was fighting the head doctor and he offhandedly was able to help in that way. But he lit like his goal was literally to get the fruit and save Holly over Tsurugi. It's never been explored like why it's a big deal that like the
Mhm.
whole arc was building up to saving Tsurugi and it has nothing to do with Josuke is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Oh man. I a lot of people are like, "Oh man, Jojolion, we had good times. I'm excited. I'm so excited for part 9. Farewell Jojolion." I feel like I'm the most negative person on the planet right now about this ending. This sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, this blows and people are not going to like hearing that. It blows so much that I'm genuinely not excited for part 9. And I've told Joe this, the only way I'm excited about part 9 is if we open up in either Morioh or New Guinea and it's a direct follow up to the story of Jojolion because that's the only way that this isn't the worst ending Iraqi's written. Uh,
Mhm.
I like it. I don't like the ending of Part 5. It's down there. It's between those two, to be honest.
Yeah. The it just leaves on such an unsatisfactory note of like.
I would actually say it leaves on a fairly sad. I was complaining that like okay they didn't build up this family angle as much as
Yeah.
I would have liked, but it was still a really touching final few pages.
Mhm.
Um, but it would have been more touching like if we had seen all the family fight more, if we got to see more of their stands and more conflict between the family. It was just Jobin versus Norisuke in the end
Mhm.
of it.
I I'm
However, it's
very
still like a very cute ending, right? So I'd say
yeah.
it's a much more satisfying ending. But at
Yeah.
least in part 5, Araki didn't straight up drop massive plot points like last second just because he got lazy. Like
Mhm.
there's no way I can look at this ending and not feel like Araki got incredibly lazy and bored. And if that's how he writes now, I don't care about part 9 because I'm gonna get invested in something that he's just gonna get lazy and finish, and that'll be the last JoJo part. And it's like, cool, that's another 10 years like believing in you, and then you just kind of flounder it in the end.
Doing 95% of your work trying to make up reasons for bullshit.
I know. Look, I've been there. Dude, people are saying that the flash forward never happened. The copium is insane. Like it was there. People are saying it was never a flash forward. You guys just didn't understand it. No, get that shit out of here. It's lazy writing, and I've done my fair share of doing Iraqi's work, but I have to draw the line at a plot relevant bait, and then also the Holly thing. Also, Josuke barely being involved in the final arc. It feels like, and then he just shows up in the end to get the final hit because haha. I got the last hit on the final boss. Go Beyond is just introduced, and because it's like when Act 4 is introduced, you get at least high voltage to have a little more time with Act 4. With Go Beyond, he uses it twice. Like, and it's all in the same fight. So it's like it's very sudden. It's like it's worse than Jotaro ass pulling the time stop for me, and I am very critical of the time stop. Oh man. This was my favorite part until the last 3 chapters. Like, can you believe that? Like, and that's the thing too. Like, I like this part more than most people did up to this point. I feel like, so I feel like that's why it hurts even more that the ending's so unsatisfactory because I put so much stock in it.
Yeah,
I like, it's a mystery story, and clearly that is not Araki's strength because he's always been kind of a bullshit writer. But there was times in Jojolion where the mystery was very strong, the plot was very strong, and the characters were very, very strong. So it really felt like he was doing it. I could live with Flashback Man never appearing. I got a satisfactory answer for the walleyes, even though in every fucking thread, some dumb skull was like, what is the walleyes? Like, dude, it's been explained like 3 times. Come on now.
There's even a whole chapter that basically like, lays out what they are.
Yeah, they're a devil's palm, okay? And they're weird. And they're Junji Ito-y. Okay, that's all you need to know. So, like, I'm very negative, but if Josuke is a Jotaro-esque figure in Part 9, I might look on Part 8 more fondly. I might have to reread it all as well, but I feel like that's going to hurt even more knowing, like, exactly what doesn't get resolved. Like, Carrera never comes back. Like Carrera was Josefumi and Kira's like trashy friend.
Oh yeah,
love. And like that's not like the worst thing, but that's one of like Flashback Man's never introduced. There's like that weird those weird signs that they found in the library in the Higashikata family that never goes anywhere. Maybe that could be something in Part 9, but I have zero hopes for literally zero hopes for Part 9. And JoJo's is like ostensibly my top 2 favorite manga series, and for me to be saying this, that just goes to show you how burned I feel like I've been. But people are just kind of okay with this ending. Oh, I've talked a lot. You talk some, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, you've said a lot of what I think too. It's just like, all right, well, part of me also feels like there's pressure to just end the part for some reason because it does feel like it's a very sudden ending.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make any kind of climactic sense other than like we killed the big bad guy, part over kind of deal.
Big bad guy who was very recently introduced, and sure he was the leader of the Rock Human, so he had been working towards that, but like you want to build a bit more rapport with your final bad guy. So Jobin is the most wasted character in all of JoJo's because he was flying so high, and Araki's just like, nope, you get killed by Wonder of You. The end.
That's the sucky part. Is like it's because it very clearly felt like there are 2 conflicts going on: the external conflict of the family, which is the Rock Humans, and the internal conflict of the family, which is the family not being on the same page of what's going on, and the conflict between father and son and all of that,
and mother.
And like that's interesting because you have to like really think about like what's really important to you, your self-preservation or your family.
Yeah. And it would have been interesting for Josuke to have to like maybe it was a quandary of whether to save Tsurugi or Holly, you know. But
yeah, because it was a perfect like mirror of what the Rock Humans were when they were explained. Like they are a side species or a plan B or whatever for the human race, but they were much more isolated and much more like self-sustaining, that they didn't want to work with each other, and they only did it out of like sheer selfishness and like for their own like wealth, basically.
Yes. And by the way, I actually think Toru has a much better motivation than people give him credit for. A lot of people are like his motivation was shallow, but people don't really understand the Rock Human being like a like a god-given B class of human. So they're
Mhm.
just like, oh, he wanted money. It's like, no, it's a little more deep than that. So like, I'm even giving credit where people don't, and I'm
Yeah.
still like
It's
more
he
disappointed.
he like imagine like just being like told you're the worst child and then you have to try to find something that gives you something worthwhile.
Yeah.
Like that's basically what's going on.
Hmm.
Um and like when you have that external conflict that perfectly mirrors the internal conflict going on there, you get an idea like, okay, then we need to see how these resolve together. Um, but we don't. And you're just like, great. And then like we're assuming that Jobin and Kato both die because they're not mentioned to get released from the hospital.
Yeah. No, they died. They died. They're
Yeah.
gone. Norisuke is fine. So good on Fruit Dad.
Yeah, good job, Fruit Dad.
Yeah.
Thank God your son only gave you a small aneurysm that probably will leave you crippled for life.
No, he'll be fine. Those stand users heal well. They're good. Here's something that pisses me off. Araki remembers in this page that Daio's almost blind, so he has her like looking through a magnifying glass. Like, you motherfucker, you remember that Daio's almost blind, but then you don't finish the part. Like, that's so annoying. Uh,
Where are they eating? They're not eating at the fruit parlor, are they? Oh, no, they are.
they're at the fruit parlor.
Then
Yeah,
why
for
the-
some reason I thought it was a train. I thought they were at a train station.
Yeah, it looks like it.
No, yeah, they're just chilling there.
Hmm. I just, I don't know. I don't know. I like you've mentioned a lot of grievances that I have. It's like, all right, the part's over. Okay, bye. I mean, I'll read part 9 and see where it goes from here.
I'm going to read part 9, and chances are we're gonna cover it in this godforsaken channel, and I'll be mad about it the whole fucking time. Uh,
Some more than others, but yeah.
ugh. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, right? Like, it could open up, and it's the quest of Josuke trying to go to New Guinea and
Mhm.
find the source of the Rokakakaka, and it's gonna be all about, like, you said it would be about reaching the Garden of Eden. That's a cool, like, idea.
Because then that could be like a devil's palm in itself.
Yeah, the
and I
Gardens
like
of Eden. Yeah, the Garden of Eden could be a devil's palm, and it is where the Rokakakaka came from. It's not originally from New Guinea, so they'll have to go there and find out. But
Yeah.
it have to be like a story of Josuke and his two twin children mirroring part 3, where grandpa and grandson have to go save mom, or in this case, grandma.
Yeah.
But that would mean, no, that can't be, because Holly would have been alive for another 18 years while a child is born.
Unless it's like a 10-year-old baby.
Tsurugi Part 2.
School.
Man, Tsurugi was so cool until he just doesn't get to do anything. Remember the whole thing about in the flash forward, they're like, and stands evolve,
Yeah.
correlating to a person's emotion, and you and I got so hyped. It's like, what the fuck does this mean? What's gonna happen to Tsurugi's stand? Nothing! It was nothing! Oh,
Motherfucker still motherfucker gets his curse removed, still dresses like a girl.
I mean, they haven't bought him boy clothes yet.
It's true.
It
I
just
mean, he
had-
could like it.
Yeah,
he might.
that's just how he rolls now, right?
Yeah.
You can't pretend like this isn't the most drop plot
Yeah.
points in any JoJo part. Like,
And, like-
part 7, as masterpiecey as it is, has its iffy writing, right? But it's a straightforward story. Araki
Yeah.
limited himself to just a story about some dudes on a race, and they were gay for each other, all right? And then Lucy was there too, and there were some good governmental conspiracies along the way. But it wasn't like this thing built on mysteries where a bunch of the mystery points are just there to pique your interest but never go anywhere.
Yeah. And we had a very clear end of where we needed to get to, so we knew we were getting closer and closer to the
Yeah.
end. And and it just kind of naturally developed its final plot point. It's like, all right, cool. Whereas like this, I feel like Araki both put a lot of effort into thinking about what he wanted to do, but then also just didn't put enough effort to figure out how to finish up what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Unless Unless he talked to his editor and the editor's like, you should just break it up into 2 parts, and part 2 is the other half of this. But I don't see that happening.
So there was that interview a long time ago where he said he would like to revisit Morioh in part 8 and 9. Now, sure, this means that we might not be in Morioh the whole time, but maybe he's had this master plan, and we're gonna find out that Tsurugi's flash forward is an alternate timeline, and we get into that bullshit. I'm cool with that. However, I just don't think we'll get there. I just don't think we'll get that coolness.
We ain't doing no Loki shit.
No, we are not doing any Loki shit.
I'm trying to think. There was something else I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, I just can't see Holly surviving for 20 years, so my hopes are dashed. But
I can see this picking up in like a month. The only other way that this might have been like fine is that, and it's not given. We're assuming that Jobin's dead, but if he's not dead, and it's just him going off to do and trying to save Holly or doing whatever. It's like, okay, maybe that'd be.
Why is Jobin saving Holly, dude? You're on copium right now.
I know. Once again, it's just like, if you want to keep that plot point, like, and you don't want it to be absurd, but it's going to be absurd. Like, I could already see now that she's going to be alive for 20 years and she's going to have, like, Omega dementia.
Yeah, no, like, that just feels unfeasible, right? Unless it's Josuke again. But I feel like people would get so tired of that.
Yeah, and that kind of breaks the spirit of the...
Of JoJo's in general.
Yeah.
Like, part 2 is a direct follow-up to 1, and 3 is a semi-follow-up to 2. So, like, I think 8 into 9 being a direct follow-up. In fact, 7's kind of a follow-up into 8. Like, they kind of mesh relatively well.
Well, I mean...
So I'd love this trilogy about, like, you know, like, the things that Johnny started, and Holy Lands, and Holy Bodies, and, like, it's kind of like the Holy Corpse trilogy. But we'll have to see. Jojo Lands is a very promising name, though, and a very good name for the final part. Because he can't do another one. I just hope it's like a 6-year thing. I can't trust him anymore. Like I just can't. You fucked me over, Rocky.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have other matters to attend to, Joe.
Yep.
Which is we're gonna revisit our tier list we did.
Okay.
So hold on. Let me pause here while I set this up. So I am back. I have unfortunate news, Joe.
Yeah.
We never saved the tier list, and for some reason, Tier Maker erased every unsaved tier list. So, like, for example, our still incomplete One Piece tier list with Bradley got completely erased. I don't know why. I would constantly check up on these and make sure that they were still there, and they were for the longest time. I think Tier Maker had, like, a cookie clean or something a while ago that got rid of everything. So, all I have is the video evidence of our tier list. So, we're just going to talk a little bit about these Part 8 characters and where they're placed here in these top 10 to B tier. And we'll see how we're feeling.
Yeah.
Where do we want to start? I think
first
Joseph,
off,
Fumi, and Kira are good.
Yeah. They're fine. Like, they're ultra solid.
Yeah.
They had a beginning, middle, and end that we were all happy for.
Yes.
It's that about. I think Jobin drops down to A tier.
To A?
Yeah.
I think he still stays in S.
Okay.
I dare say he still stays in top 10 IMO.
Ooh. Shifted down, though?
Shifted down to the 10th spot.
Okay. And then Norisuke gets kicked out?
Wait, Norisuke is the 10th spot. Norisuke goes to 9. Norisuke actually had a good arc.
Okay.
Now, granted, it could have been more, but what we did get of him was great.
Yeah. Fair. The thing is, I really do like Jobin's character.
Jobin's character was the best part. Anytime Jobin was on the screen, you and I were splooshing, okay? Like,
yeah.
You can't deny the fact that he was great. He just didn't go where he needed to go to stay top 3.
I agree there.
I think Yasuo drops below at least Jojolion.
Okay.
Because we never got to see any of her and Josuke together at the end. Like, the last arc was a Yasuo and Kato arc of all things.
The last 2 chapters, yeah. I mean, it was cool that they have this, like, long distance, like, fight communication that they're doing.
That was cool. So I think those two drop. Norisuke can stay where he is. As far as the S tiers, I think Josuke drops to A tier.
Okay.
I think
I
I was hesitant. Like you were pushing for Josuke top 10, and I pushed against it. And I really needed to see more of this character. But think about Josuke
mhm,
in like the entire second half of Jojolion. He's a lot more serious. He's a lot less fun.
mhm.
He has amazing character moments with Holly. Guess what? Guess what? That
Doesn't
Holly
matter.
moment that would have put him in S tier previously, it just got dropped. So like I can't make an argument for keeping him as high as he is at all.
Yeah. Tsurugi.
Tsurugi, man, I had such high hopes for this kid.
But the thing is too is like it's still not too bad
It's not too.
comparatively.
It's not as bad as
You're
Josuke
scared. Yeah.
because Josuke is the main character, so I have more expectations of him.
Hmm. The thing about him is like I feel I feel like his like personal arc. So his whole arc about what we should have seen is like him about coming like realization about like my dad's actually doing bad things for my
Yeah,
sake, but I don't feel good about it, and we
yeah.
don't kind of get that moment with him.
We do get it because he's clearly stressed. In the flash
Yeah,
forward, that didn't happen.
yeah,
Oh, if the flash forward really needed to happen for this character, man,
yeah.
that was the hypest shit. Oh,
Hmm.
I think he doesn't stay in S as
Yeah,
much as I love him.
yeah.
Does man does Josuke drop to A or bottom of S?
I think he drops the
He's
A.
he's just not that fun, but he's got such cool story beats to him.
He does have great story beats. It's just like
He
now, Grant.
underutilizes his stand. He gets
Uh-huh.
bullshit power ups. He has great moments with Yasuo.
Hmm.
Not so much in the end, but a great moment with the family in the end, and a great moment with Holly at the end, and a good moment with Rai.
Yeah, I think what's sad is that I kind of wish the Toru fight was cut down a little bit more, or actually a lot more, and then we got more time with the family because that I feel like was a more centrifugal thing we should have focused on.
I
But
mean, we wanted the whole arc, like the final arc, to be about the family. We were wrong. We were stupid to assume that all these characters would have their big last
rather,
hurrah.
yeah. Oh my God, Riot and whatever her name is also dead. They're just fucking
Yeah, everyone's fucking Ryan K. They're dead.
yeah,
Okay, that's them. So we're saying Sarugi and Josuke drop to A. I will say
yeah.
Josuke can be top of A. And
Okay, yeah,
Sarugi can be. I think Sarugi ends up being below Damo was the shit.
yeah.
That's my boy.
Double
Um,
good. Double fool.
Joshu, however, what do we do with this guy?
Uh
He never got the redemption that we
no,
wanted.
he never did. His redemption is that he tells Josuke to pick a cake.
Yeah. However, he's such a force of chaos and bullshittery.
Yeah, I love him, but I also fucking hate this
He's such
guy.
a scumbag.
Mitsuba
Hmm.
too. That's another one that you skipped over.
Yeah, Mitsuba really needed the family arc. I think she
Yeah,
also drops to A because
I
she
feel like
doesn't
I'll.
do anything in that last arc, despite being
Mhm,
so cool.
yeah,
Joshu, Joshu is so tough. I feel like he could stay there, but it just feels wrong to have him above Tsurugi, Josuke, and Mitsuba.
yeah, I agree.
Oh, that sucks. I don't know. Pick for me, Joe. Joe, just pick the cake. Come on.
I'm gonna put him down in A tier.
All right.
He
The
need that
so
redemption arc, or he either the redemption arc or the like final punishment kind of thing. I
Oh,
guess
his
you could
final
say,
punishment was getting fucking guttered. So,
yeah, true.
like he got
But like,
his.
but then even then, like, there's no sense of like lesson learned from him.
Yeah, yeah. We needed more time. We needed like all we
Yeah,
get is that he accepts Josuke into his family, but that's not really enough for how shitty he was. All right, I
it's
agree. Send him to
yeah.
A. So the only part 8 characters that's like didn't drop a full tier were Yasuo, Jobin, and Norisuke. But
What
even
about Josefume?
Josefumi, well, of the ones that are relevant to the plot still.
Okay.
All right, as for the A tier, I think Toru is too high now. Toru was a great side antagonist, penultimate antagonist, but not a very good final antagonist.
Yeah.
I would say he's as good as Diavolo in Cars. I don't know if
I
that's a
would say
hot
I'd
take.
say he's better than both of them. I wouldn't say he's the best for sure, but I think he's better than both. Like I think his motivation, his plot is a little bit more interesting than them.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
actually, I don't even mean a little. I mean a lot. Like he actually has like a motivation that's kind of empathetic, and you kind of get like, yeah, you kind of got the short end of the stick on life by literal God. So
Yeah.
I kind of get why you're mad.
Yeah. And like he has good moments in his stand. Like we're keeping Head Doctor where he is because he's just Head Doctor's fun.
Mhm.
Um, but
Office hours, baby.
I feel like okay. So where did we put Cars and Diavolo? I see Dopio's up here. They might not even be B tier.
Yeah, I think they're down at C.
Man, we shortchanged Jotaro here. Jotaro needs to be top of B. Part 3 Jotaro.
Oh yeah,
I grow
like
on
I
him
said
over time.
before.
Yeah, like you said before. While we're here, let me fix that. We'll put Jotaro in the top of B. Um, there's also Rai.
I think Rai's fine where he is.
Rai died too suddenly. I think Rai's a B tier character personally, but I won't fight you on this one.
I think he's fine where he is because he goes through a good enough arc of like being lonesome and then kind of be like, no, I'm gonna trust Josuke with my life kind of deal and sacrificing myself for him.
Yeah, I mean it was decent. I like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Toru has to drop to either bottom of A or somewhere in B. I would say, is he better than Dio?
That was what I was about to say.
That's tough. I don't think he is.
I don't think he is either.
I would put him above Anasui then.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair. Looking at who
Yeah.
else is in B tier, I think that's
Yeah.
fair.
But I mean, thank God for part 7. We got Sugar Mountain, we got Ringo,
Oh man.
we got Johnny, we got Gyro,
I don't want to talk about this. I'm so upset.
we got Doppio in bottom of A.
This is so. They all had to move down, dude. Like so few of them weren't ruined. It's like when we were doing the Attack on Titan thing, where it's like the characters that weren't ruined get to rise to the cream of the crop by
Yeah.
the last few chapters.
What do you think about Ymir? I fucking hate her.
Oh, good. I thought you were gonna say something nice. Okay.
Going out on a limb here.
Good times.
Is there anyone else?
No one else worth moving, I don't think. So we moved Mitsuba down. We kept Joshu, is that right?
No, move Joshu down.
Joshu, Mitsuba, Josuke all moved down. The top 10 now becomes Kira, Johnny, Gyro. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Josuke, Jolene. And
yeah, Jobin, Yasuo.
No, Yasuo.
Okay, Jobin.
No, Jobin goes at the end.
Okay. Sorry.
The void in my heart. So I think
Yeah.
it goes Johnny, Gyro, Josuke, Jolene, Yasuo, Pucci, Valentine, Norisuke, Jobin.
Okay, fair.
Fair. Oh, Godspeed, sweet prince, Jobin. And now, Joe,
Yeah.
for the final thing we'll do,
All right.
rank the parts. Rank all the parts. Start from the
All right.
bottom, go up.
Oh, starting from the bottom.
Yeah.
Bottom is 5, I think.
Hot damn.
Followed by, all I want are guns pointing at me
You've
by every Sex Pistols fan.
always have. Oh, Sex Pistols.
Always happen. Part 5 has some very cool, I would say some of the best fights in JoJo's, but just overall terrible.
Damn, terrible, he says. He's using
Overall,
the T word here.
mediocre.
Okay.
Mediocre.
I think that's better.
Yeah. I'm saying in relativeness the JoJo arcs. I think after that is 1.
Okay.
I think. Just for that's just like pacing issues and everything, and just like kind of old style stuff, and just
Yeah.
just
You don't have to defend one.
yeah. Part 1 like has a great like first act. I love the
Yes.
first like
It's so good.
it's so good. I'm like, oh my god, this is actually amazing. And then you get to like the middle part, and you're like, at the ending, you're like, all right, cool,
Yeah,
right,
cool, yeah.
You know what? Better than most. So what we have left? We have 6, 7, 8, 3, and 2.
What, you only did 2 parts.
I know.
You have 6 left.
I'm trying to think. I think at this point, this is where 8 goes for me. For now.
Wow. Okay.
Because it's just like, I think after that would be 3. I would think. Whereas I really enjoy Jotaro, but there's a lot of slow moments. I like the ending with Dio, but like it's too much of a slog to get through again. And like some of those first stanzas are terrible, but then the back half is really good.
Yeah.
After that, it's 2. 2 is just a fun time overall. Has a really weak main villain, but I think the side villain of
Wham.
Wham is great. Joseph carries that part. Caesar helps him carry that part.
Yeah.
Lisa helps him carry that part. It's a smaller character cast, so it just works better. 2, and then so I have 6, 4, and 7 left.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I think after that 6, Jolene's great. Foo Fighters great. Hermes is great. I'm excited for part 6 in general.
Yeah. The anime is gonna be great.
Oh my god! And 6 has some issues with flying tampons and printer machines made out of string.
Oh, let's not even start with the snails.
Yeah, that's.
I can't fucking wait.
So
maybe they can fix it by giving us the conclusive answer of if it's in your brain or if it's not. Because in the fucking manga, like, Pucci explains it and then immediately contradicts himself the next page. He says it's both things. He gives both answers. Oh,
God, fucking snails, man. They can have sex with anything. Did you know that? So I think 6 overall is like the theme is really good with 6. Like 6 has a better like internal family conflict theme that wraps up than 8 does, right? Because like 6 is about the strain between Jotaro and Jolene.
And I mean, they fucking they make that final arc really about that, you know?
Yeah, and it feels good.
Yeah,
like you're like that. It's like there is some side, like it sucks because huge spoiler for part 6.
If you're watching the part 8 final episode, you should not be here if you haven't read part 6.
Yeah,
but everyone dies.
Yeah, everyone dies, and like, oh man, this fucking sucks. We lost, but like. Really, we won because we got like the repairing of the relationship with the father and the daughter kind of thing, you know.
Well, plus Emporio stopped Pucci's plan.
And Emporio,
Emporio's the goat.
Yeah, little baseball boy. So after that, I think is 4, and 4 in itself is solid, and it's actually the part I've rewatched the most. I will put the part 4. Now that part 4 dubbed is on Netflix, I put that on the background and I just watch it.
I did not know that was on Netflix. This is big news.
Yeah, so it's just it's great because it goes and it meanders enough and then it transfers into its ultimate narrative, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like
just remember how good that final arc in part 4 is, and then you think about the Wonder of You arc, and you're like, "Oh man, what happened here?
Yeah,
what happened?"
And like, it's so weird because part 8 was doing a really good job of like doing that meandering, but interweaving that like narrative as well.
It was doing the meandering the best of any part. Like,
yeah, And it was just like, we're getting some answers, but we're also exploring parts of the town, and we're getting more idea of like how each family member is operating, and like what's wrong with them, but like what's causing conflict, or like what about their lives they're not satisfied with, or like how their family like viewership of themselves and the other parts of the family. So we're getting these bits and pieces, and we're seeing the picture come together, but it just never does, and it sucks. And then we get to part 7, the most cohesive story, that actually has a great theme, that has 2 of the strongest characters ever written by Araki.
Both in their top 3 now.
Yeah, the rightful spots. As well as having also a very compelling villain that is both empathetic, but also menacing, powerful, and feels like a great kind of like final conflict character. He's not the final conflict, and we have a prologue resolution that is bittersweet. But at the same time, it's like we kind of accomplished what we actually wanted to accomplish, which was Johnny learning to walk again, and kind of succeeding a little bit in life once more.
You know what? Maybe I've been too harsh on High Voltage. I would kill for a High Voltage right now, as opposed
like
to the Radio Gaga incident versus High Voltage versus Sleeping Slaves. Like, I feel like there's a clear tier list.
High Voltage like is like tiers above that, because it's a bunch of clown shoes. Sure, like, well, fuck it, let's bring back the world for whatever reason. But they also
clown shoes.
Also, Act 4 Tusk can just fucking not worry about that shit anyways. But yeah, like I think that's where I'm standing at. Like 8 fell pretty hard because of the ending. And it's because of the cohesiveness. And I think that's the big thing. That's the line past the rest of them, really. Other than part 1. Part 1 kind of loses points just because its weird middle part really makes it drag on for a long time. But it has a cohesive ending. But part 8 has a more better middle part, which I think is the meatier. But anyways, the line being is that past that, every other part has like a pretty solid ending to it, and it feels like the end of a journey.
So to recap Joe's rankings, because I wrote them down, it goes 5, then 1, then 8, then 3, then 2, then 6, then 4, then 7.
Yeah.
All right. I had time as you were talking to get my rankings in order. For me, it goes 1, and then for a lot of these will be for the same reason, and then 3.
Okay.
And then 2.
Ah.
And then 5.
Ooh.
And then 8.
Ooh.
And then 6, 7, 4.
Okay.
7, 4, very close.
I think that top 3 would be pretty close to similar.
Yeah. So with Jojolion, it's kind of tied with 5 right now.
Yeah.
And 3 is kind of tied with 2. I like it still makes the top 4, but you know what's funny? Both part 5 and part 8, I really like. I think they're good parts, but they don't capitalize on all their characters. They don't have the most interesting character dynamics by the end of it, and they both have the weakest endings. So it's kind of weird that
it's like part 5 all over again.
it is part. You guys got it. You got your part 5 remake that you wanted. No King Crimson, but you get the shit ending. So
yeah.
There you go. It still makes my top 4, which feels dirty.
That's the other thing too, is like I was thinking about that. It's like I would like the great thing about when 9 comes out is that there could be a very good like middle spot that I just want to put it like dead center in between all the JoJo's.
It'll never rise above 6, 7, 4. And honestly, on some days 2 shoots past 5. So some days 2 will be my 4th slot.
Yeah.
So, and then some days I'm like, you know what, 3 wasn't so bad, and then it'll be not second to last. My top 3 are very ironed out, but Jojolion does kind of fall by the wayside and kind of joins the chaos that is my bottom 5.
I think it's interesting, like our selections. I feel like I'm also a lot more attached. Like I want to know what your ending is. Yeah. Kind of, I feel, because. It's
like, does an ending ruin a story? And like it ruins some parts of the story, but you still get that first half. You still get like fights like the Ozone Baby and Doctor Wu, and a lot of moments in the Wonder of You arc are great. They're not like final fight worthy at all, but like Abestos, you're like, yeah, let's go, Abestos. Like it's a good JoJo fight, just such a bad final fight. And then all the drop plot points go without mention.
And I think
Is 5 better than 8 then for me? I don't know. 5, I like the characters in 8 way more, so I'm gonna go with.
But that's why 8's above it for me. Like, if you were to sit me down, like, all right, you gotta watch part 5 again or reread all of Jojolion. I was like, I'll just reread all of Jojolion. Like, at least I can enjoy the characters I'm reading.
At least I'll read Mother and Child, and that was never ruined ever.
Yeah, the best chapter ever written in a movie.
We didn't talk about Kato. She can now be tiered, and I think she goes into A.
Yeah,
I like how her story resolved actually quite a bit.
I do
she doesn't
too,
get much screen time, but like she is the mother, you know.
Mm-hmm.
She got more mother than Holly did at the end.
She ultimately ended up having to self-sacrifice herself to save her grand.
It was rushed. A lot of the things in these last few chapters were rushed, but you know.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Well, that's our rankings. Oh, and that's all I got for now.
Mm-hmm. We'll see y'all in probably. I would assume
2 or 3 months.
Yeah, what's either November or December. I think is when I would imagine the chapter. I think if it doesn't come out in November, it won't come out till January.
He went pretty fast. From 7 to 8, and he always doesn't take too long of a break. I feel like he ended it so fast because he's excited for the next part, and you know, Araki's just a hack. So
true. We're all going to Disney World. The whole part takes place in one day in Disney World.
It's Dressrosa all over again.
Oh God.
The arc of one day.
Yeah.
So I will make the audience a deal. We will cover the first 3 chapters of Jojolands, and then we'll see where we go from there.
And then we'll probably
if I'm just heartbroken, we will cover like every maybe arc instead of chapter. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. It might also happen where like I will keep reading, and then I will have to eventually bring Willer back on, like I am right now, trying to get Willer to read Don to Don right now.
Yes. But you know what? I finished the Great Ace Attorney one. I've started 2, but I should go read some Don to Don.
Yeah. Just started the 3rd arc. Very excited. 2nd arc was short, but you know what? Had some neat little moments in it.
This is now a Don to Don channel. Please stay tuned.
Welcome to Don to Don Radio. Let us suck your dick.
Yeah, all right. We'll end it there. Well, leave it in the comments if you want us to still cover Jojolion monthly. Like, if it's a big part of your month, let us know. Because otherwise, it really depends. If you want to hear me gripe about Part 8 for the next at least 2 years, I'll probably let it go eventually. But I'm gonna be a little salty for a while. Now, however, those first 2 chapters could be like, let's go, we're back, we're explaining everything. Then Part 8 will go up my tier list along Part 9. But we'll see when we get there. All right. I think that's good.
All right.